Howdy folks, Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. And it's time again for another exciting edition of Beer 30. Let's go. So this is, for those of you that are new to this, this is my segment that I do periodically where I test a random craft beer. And we talk about that a little bit, talk a little bit about craft beer, and particularly the one that I'm testing. And I also pick a random topic for the day, you know, something that is topical, that is current in the news or whatever. So this particular edition will be football related because we're getting ready to launch the new 2016 season tomorrow night. And of course that's why I got all my Raiders stuff on, because I'm a lifelong Raider fan. And the Raider haters, you know, I'm a Patriot hater, so you guys are welcome here too. The Raider haters are welcome along with everybody else. So anyway, so this edition's selection is called Tree Shaker. There we go. Tree Shaker Imperial Peach IPA. And this was, there you go, by the Odell Brewing Company. This was given to me by my buddy Brad, who is our DM back here for our 3.5 D&D campaign. He went to Wyoming or something and with his son, and they brought back some stuff. And so he gave me this one specifically as a tester for Beer 30. So let's give it a shot. Now, for an IPA, and I'm as I've said before, I'm not a hophead. I'm not a huge fan of IPAs. I'm definitely not a fan of like double IPAs where it's just like, let me hit you over the head with some hops and tell you that you must enjoy this beer. You know, it's like they force feed it down your throat. But this has that particular species of hop that or strain or whatever you want to call it, whatever it's called for the variations in hops. This has the, as I like to call it, the grapefruit citrus flavor to the hop, as opposed to the pine tree, Christmas tree hop that I do not like. This one, the citrus hop, which you don't see a lot of, I actually love. So, number one, that's a good thing. Number two, you get the aroma of the peach, but I'm not getting a lot of it in the flavor. Just a little bit, so maybe that's on purpose. Maybe that's they wanted it to be subtle, so it's not overwhelming with it. So you get kind of a little bit of a peachy, and then the citrus, grapefruit hoppiness to it. So yes, that's a decent beer. I would not drink more than one of those at a sitting, though. It is it's a little bit overpowering on the hoppiness for me, and so forth. But it's definitely if I'm just getting home and I feel like something cold and refreshing, and I'm in the mood for something hoppy, yes, I would crack one of those in a second. So. There, that's my review on that. Now, let's talk some football. So, for those of you that may not have been around since I started this channel, I always said, this is primarily a gaming channel. I talk about gaming, I talk about beer, and I talk about sports. And when I say sports, 99% of it, if I do talk about sports, which is a very small amount, but 99% of that time, it will be football, pro football. Because I don't really follow baseball anymore. I'm not into basketball. I'm not even big into the Olympics and that kind of stuff. Yeah, so mainly I'm a football fan and pro football at that. I do talk a little bit about, I will talk college from time to time. But primarily, if you see me doing any sports stuff here, it will be football. So, how do you feel about whatever your team is or your outlook for this season? I'd like to see your feedback below. I'm pretty excited for the Raiders. And, of course, as a Raider fan, we have to say that every year. You've always got to be optimistic. You've always got to be upbeat and say, this is our year. However, now having said that, generally that feeling is not mutually felt amongst, say, the sports media. And so a lot of times they're not on board with us Raider fans who are like, this is our year, and we're going to freaking do it, And the sports media is like, no, they're a crappy team again, Generally, that's what they'll normally say. Not this year. This year, they're on board. They're saying for the AFC West that the Raiders have a good chance of winning the division. And, of course, I have to agree with that sentiment. Our quarterback, Derek Carr, has continued to improve every year and shown that he is becoming quite the talent. He's good at managing the game, managing the field. He's got a good arm. He's making good decisions. So very encouraged by that. And we picked up a lot of other talent and so forth. I'd be interested to see what you guys think about your teams. I really would. Even you Patriot fans out there, I get it. You guys have been good for so long and everything else, but I don't know if you guys remember this.
So, Mr. Tom Brady, you thought that you would just appeal your suspension to Mr. Roger Goodell, and he would, because you're the golden boy, the chosen one, that you would just get a reduced sentence, or he'd just wipe the slate clean. That's what you thought, wasn't it, Roger Goodell? Gotcha! Bullshit! I ain't reducing nothing.
Yeah, that was me last year when Tom Brady was first hit with the 4-game suspension. And man, was I happy, because I don't dislike him as a person. I dislike him as an NFL quarterback on what I consider the team that has gotten more breaks when you're talking about officiating and so forth than any other team I've ever seen. And so it was kind of, to me, it was like an equalizer. It was like, okay, yeah, time to take him down a few pegs, take the whole team down a few pegs, and bring him back to reality. And then, of course, that got overturned. And everybody was quick to jump on me and say, where are you now, Greyhawk? You were all happy and everything else. And, of course, I was disappointed. I felt that it should have been all along that he should have gotten the suspension and so forth for number one, the probability that he had something to do with tampering with footballs before a big game, but number two, he also didn't cooperate with the investigation and so forth. Then the most latest, of course, is the NFL appealed it, and it got held up. So now he is getting a 4-game suspension, and that's it. It's already a done deal. He will not be playing in the first 4 games, and I feel like justice has been served. It has shown that, yes, you're not above the rules, and let's just leave it at that. Justice has been served. He will serve his 4 games, and we can move on. So happy about that. How many of you are playing fantasy football? That would be another question I'd like to see answered down below. I always play fantasy football. I've only won it 1 year. I've been playing for like 20 years. I've won, one time. I've been a champion one time. And that was like not last year, but the year before. Last year, I can't remember how I did last year. I don't think I did very well. But in my team this year is iffy at best. So I don't know. If you guys play fantasy, I'd like to know. Tell me below. What do you think about your outlook for the season? Do you guys have teams that you are proud of, that you're happy with your selections, with what you got? If any of you, and also if any of you guys play stuff like FanDuel or DraftKings, any of that. I've never done any of that since it started. I only started a couple years ago. The week by week fantasy stuff that you can do. I'd be interested to know what your feelings are about those, because I haven't done any of that stuff. I really do think I should always have a beer whenever I do any videos, whether it's gaming or whatever. I think I should always have a beer ready, because a lot of times I'll be talking and because I'm talking so much, I'll feel like my voice is getting dry and everything, and it's like, I think from now on, I think it should just have a beer on standby at all times. I think that's just a good policy. What do you guys think? So, part of getting ready for football season is I have to break out this guy. I've had this guy at least 20 years, if not closer to 25. My wife got this for me shortly after we got married, and we've been married almost 25 years, so at minimum 20 years. So, and what this guy is he's your standard dickhead referee, but all his limbs come off, and when you get pissed, when you're watching a football game and there's a bad call, you can rip this guy to shreds. It is fantastic. Now, has a real whistle. His head even comes off. So, but what I wanted to show you guys was, if you look closely at his eyes there, you will see, let's see if I can do this here, right there, and up there, a couple little spots there, he's actually got some pieces of the plastic missing, and even a couple smaller ones on the other side over here. There's a couple sides over here that are the same way. And that's from him being thrown across the room, and of course everything's nice and soft except for the eyeballs, which are plastic, and they've gotten chipped a few times from hitting something hard. The fact that the stuffing is all in this is still a miracle. Like, now, and all my friends all my buddies, my football buddies that I've been friends with since high school, and have watched football, and we're all Raider fans and everything else, they will attest, probably below in the comments, that it's a miracle. This is all his limbs are still accounted for. His flag is still here. That hasn't been ripped off somehow magically. His whistle's still accounted for, and both of his eyes are still attached. That's just a miracle. The abuse this thing has taken, and rightfully so, because it's like a voodoo doll, for bad refereeing, So he's seen quite a bit of mileage. Anyway, guys, that's it for this edition of Beer 30. I hope you liked the video. I hope you like the idea of me, doing these tests of these craft beers every time I do one of these. I've been drinking beer a long time. I lived in Germany for 3 years. Traveled all over Europe. Have a lot of friends from Denmark who have tried their beer from Denmark and everything else. So I feel like I've got a little bit of a expertise when it comes to at least what I like and what generally maybe you like, depending upon the style and everything like that. So until next time, guys, cheers, and we'll catch you on the flip side.